Hi, and welcome to Crypto Chats, a podcast that explores cryptids, alien encounters, and ghost stories. Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of Crypto Chats. Today I'm going to talk to you about something that's somewhere between a cryptid and an urban legend. Whatever it is, I love it. I think it's probably one of my new favorites. We're going to talk about the Northfield Pigman, and that is from Northfield, Vermont. It's very weird. Half man, half pig. I honestly, I was doing my research on it and I was like, holy shit, I love this. This, is so weird and creepy. And one of the things I like about it is that the tale of it is very, it's, almost, borderline, satanic panic. And I kind of love that shit, I'll be honest. It's all, so kooky and weird. So let's get into it. So, the legend of the Pigman originated in 1951 in Northfield, Vermont, and the legend goes like this. So, the night before Halloween, a teenager named Sam Harris set out to teepee and egg houses and cause just general mischief, but he never returned home in the morning. They searched for him for days, and he was never found. There are two versions of what happened, and the first one is definitely along the satanic panic lines, but I love it. So the first version is that Sam sold his soul to the devil, ate raw pig entrails, and then ran around wearing a pig head as a mask, like a hollowed out live pig head as a mask. A bunch of unexplained deaths were blamed on the Pigman, and Sam was said to have returned home to his mother's house 3 years later to leave disemboweled pig organs on the porch before squealing like a pig and disappearing into the woods. The second version is not nearly as detailed, still a possibility, I suppose, though, because the second version basically just states that the Pigman actually ate Sam Harris, which is interesting. But a few years after his disappearance, there were some teens leaving a house party who were supposedly approached by the Pigman. They described him as having a man-like body, so very, I guess normal. I guess if a man walked up to you, you'd be like, yeah, that's a man. But a man-like body, and his walk was very similar to that of a man and not like a pig. But his face was covered in white fur, and it shared all of the features of a pig. Unfortunately, not really anyone believed these teens, which is sad, but that's how the story goes sometimes. But there was a small group of people who went out to look for the supposed pigman that had approached them, and all they found was a section of trampled grass where the pigman was said to have been hanging out when the teens saw him, and some tufts of white fur, which is crazy and weird. I mean, very well could have been staged, I can see that, but I also, you guys know how I am, I want to believe that everything is real, so in my brain I'm just going to say the pigman was there and he was chilling. A bunch of sightings popped up in the following years. It was a lot of farmers seeing what they described as the pigman on their property, and then along with a few instances of missing livestock, because duh, that's always how it goes. And then to a bunch of drivers saying that they saw the pigman run in front of their car or on the side of the road while they were driving and things like that. But what's interesting to me is that most of the sightings in this time period came out of an area called the Devil's Wash Bowl, which is a waterfall in the middle of the woods. And as we all know, and I guess as some of you know, if you don't know, now you will know, a lot of times places that are named after the devil just happen to have very high levels of strangeness. And I don't really know what that is about. I don't know if maybe the people who ended up naming these areas just were oh, this place is fucking weird, it's gotta be the devil, or if it, has something to do with, I don't really know, to be honest, but I have noticed that a lot of places that are like named after the devil, whether it be like the Devil's Washbowl or like the Devil's Den. Places like that tend to hold on to a lot of strangeness, which is interesting to me. I think it's kind of neat. But the name of it also does, strike fear, especially in the 50s, would definitely strike fear into the hearts of a lot of people. So it definitely makes sense to me that this specific area was the point of like a lot of the sightings. But anyway, so shortly after the rumors of Sam Harris's supposed deal with the devil came out, there was a local historian named Pam Witherspoon who wrote an article trying to debunk them, because the family and friends of Sam Harris were really upset that people, made this teenager out to be this like devil worshiping fucking whatever. So Pam Witherspoon went out of her way to try to debunk some of these rumors, but unfortunately, she went missing right before her article was published, and her body was found years later at the Devil's Washbowl, with the words "Picket Night" carved into her skull. If you're not familiar with the phrase "Picket Night," it's just another term for the night before Halloween, which is also, if you remember, the night that Sam Harris disappeared. And now, there's a bunch of other terms for the night before Halloween, but in this area of Vermont, it is only called Picket Night, and I think it's probably because of this. But that's crazy. That's a really weird coincidence. This episode is definitely a little more like true crime, cryptid, mashup. But that's fine because it's fun. So they're also like around the Devil's Washbowl, there are a bunch of caves. So it's like a heavily wooded area, big waterfall, like long river, and then a bunch of caves. And you guys know how I feel about caves. There's always something weird lurking in the caves. And I guess in this situation, it's no different because the caves around the Devil's Washbowl were searched extensively for evidence, especially with like all of the disappearances, and Sam Harris's body never being found, and then Pam Witherspoon's body being found at the Devil's Washbowl. They searched up and down, like front to back through these caves trying to find any evidence of like what might have happened to them, because at this point a lot of people obviously were like, it's the Pigman, run for your lives, it's the Pigman. But obviously I'm sure some people were also like, well, maybe it was a serial killer. Like, there's a lot of possibilities here. So when they searched the caves, all that they found were animal bones that had been like basically like sucked clean. I don't really know what the correct term for that is, but like everything like picked completely apart, like nothing left on the bones, just dry animal bones, a bunch of hay, and cloven footprints, and that's spooky and weird. And it's funny because there was like a bunch of rumors going around when they found all of this stuff that the Pigman only eats raw animals because they found so much hay that had not been disturbed that they all just assumed like, oh, he probably doesn't cook it then. I guess he just eats raw animals. And that doesn't really have anything to do with the story, but I just thought it was funny because that's absurd. But I guess maybe, like he might just eat raw animals. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really sure. I don't know like where the line between pig and man is, So like I don't really know at what point would he need to cook it, or at what point would he be okay eating it raw. I guess it doesn't really matter. There was a report of at least one other person going missing in this time period that was supposedly at the hands of the Pigman, but those who went missing generally were never found, with the only exception being Pam Witherspoon. She was the only body, person whose body was found after going missing at the hands of the Pigman. Which is freaking crazy. Like, what the hell? Where did they go? Did they eat him? Did he eat them? I don't know. Maybe some of those bones were human bones. Who knows? I think they'd probably know if they investigated it. But anyway, there was a teen that claimed he was attacked by the Pigman while he was peeing in the woods. And when he reported this attack, he was covered in long, claw-like, deep gashes all over his chest and his arms, which I want to talk about that for a second because Pigman, it his description and the specific like attributes that have been given to him don't really seem to line up with this kid's story being that of the Pigman. So when I was reading this, my brain went a little bit more to like Dogman. And that's just me. I mean, if you have a different opinion on that, please let me know because I would love to hear it. But to my knowledge, Pigman was never really like supposed to have claws or like never really known to have claws. And he was just kind of a pig guy, just walking around. But I don't really know, like there's not a ton of information on that. It was never really like investigated too deeply. So kind of just have this story of this kid getting mauled by something in the woods and claiming it was Pigman. But anyway, I mean, I think one of my favorite things about the Pigman story is how much Vermont loves it. Because while I was searching online, I found a bunch of t-shirts called like, that said like Pigman lives and stuff like that. And I'll be honest, I really want one because I think the Pigman might be my new favorite thing. Like, he's just so weird. And like, I don't know, like being totally a man and then with a pig head is just fucking crazy. And I like love the weird twist of, oh, he was living in this cave and eating animal bones and they found this woman's body and it had something carved in her skull. Like, that's just wild to me. That whole like thing is just like super, super crazy to me. The Pigman story doesn't have a lot of like really detailed specific sightings, I think because that's where more of the urban legend part of it comes in. And personally, I'm not really sure what I believe it to be. I think somewhere deep in my heart, I want to say it's a cryptid, but somewhere deep in my brain, it says urban legend. I don't really know. I didn't find any like recent sightings of the Pigman, which kind of leads me a little bit to believe it's an urban legend. Not to say that everything without recent sightings is an urban legend, but I think this one a little bit could be. And yeah, I don't know if you know anything else about Vermont and its like history, especially in the Northfield area, please let me know because I really want to know if maybe it was like a serial killer, or if there was like weird cult activity happening or whatever, because this is definitely a head scratcher of a situation. And I would like more information if anyone has it. But yeah, so that's what I got for you in the Pigman. If you have information for me, please, please, please message me because I am kind of obsessed and I would like to know everything I can. And yeah, and this week I'm actually going to put out 2 episodes because I am feeling it. So, yeah, stay tuned for the next one. A quick little Patreon shout out to my sweet friend Akatuch. My Patreon link is in my bio. This past week I posted on my $5 and up tier detailed investigation notes from our investigation into the Wood Devils of Coos County that we did very recently. If you listen to my last episode, then you will know all about that. So check out my Patreon. The link is in my bio and in the description of this episode. And yeah, I hope you guys stick around for the next episode. Thank you so much for listening. Bye!